There. Then we're talking if we have the red button. A red light is on, off. Testing.
I would like to call the Dana Point Arts and Culture Commission to order Wednesday, September 9th, 2020 at exactly 1 minute after 6. Meeting is called to order. We would like to do the call to order. I'm sorry? That's what I thought. Why? Okay. Oh, sorry. Could Maria Elena Banks do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Face the flag and put our hand over our heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we can do the now the approval of the minutes from the June 10th.
We need to call for a roll call.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Please answer here when your name is called. Commissioner Maria Elena Banks. Commissioner Karen Schnell. Present. Commissioner Anthony Small.
Here.
Vice Chair Nancy Jenkins. Here. Chair Janie Robb.
Here.
For the record, all commissioners are present.
All right. Now we can have the approval of the minutes for the June 10th, 2020 meeting and then receive and file it. Somebody want to make?
I'll make a second.
Okay.
Commissioner
Elena.
Banks. So the motion is that the Arts and Culture Commission approve the minutes of the June 10th meeting and receive and file. Motion by Commissioner Banks, seconded by Commissioner Schnell. Commissioner Banks?
Yes.
Commissioner Schnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Small?
Yes.
Vice Chair Jenkins?
Yes.
And Chair Robb?
Yes.
By consensus, this motion passes 5-0.
And we can move on to public comments. I don't see anyone in the audience, but do you want me to go ahead and read it?
There are no public comments.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That saves time. So under old business, we have a update on the traffic control utility boxes art program from staff.
Good evening, Chair Rob and Commissioners. I'd like to give you an update on the Utility Boxes Art Program. We have recently had 2 boxes with the wraps installed, one at PCH Golden Lantern and Del Prado, and one on Coast Highway down near the pedestrian bridge. I was contacted by a couple of commissioners and also went out to view the installation of the wraps on the boxes myself and expressed the concerns that I'd heard from the commissioners on the installation of the vinyl wraps. I've had a chance, myself and Matt Sinacori have met with Frank from Mesa Art at both boxes, gone over our concerns with the installation and some of the issues that we found, just some of the small details and quality of the installation that we had concerns about. And we have made a plan to move forward with a few tweaks, I would say, to the installation. The vinyl wraps that were installed on the first 2 boxes have a graffiti coating on them that makes the vinyl wrap thicker. And after discussing with Frank the option of perhaps going to a vinyl wrap that does not have a graffiti coating, where they can use heat to then better adhere the wrap to the box, might be a better option for us, as I don't think we are overly concerned about the boxes being graffitied. We could probably still remove the graffiti from the wrap. They just would not have that coating. And we feel like the installation will be a smoother application of the wrap. I also went over some concerns about the panels on Ashley Keene's box down on Coast Highway that I was not satisfied with the way that those looked. They were reluctant to take a key for the utility boxes for the installation at first, but after our discussion, they agreed to take a key so that they can actually open the boxes and better wrap around the edges of the doors, the paneling better. So they have agreed to take a key. I have also, after more discussions with Frank, will be inserted into the process at a few different points where we may want to modify some of the art depending on how the box ends up laying out, on where panels may be viewed better from different corners or the street, to make sure that we are getting the most impact for the artwork. So there'll be some modifications on those 2 boxes that have already been installed so that they are more of the quality and detail that we're looking for with those wraps. And then we will be moving forward, and I will be probably highly scrutinizing each wrap as it goes on. If we continue to find an issue with the quality of installation, I may pause or look for a different avenue. I don't think that will happen. Frank seems very interested in making sure that we are satisfied with the job. He is experienced, and I think he's now aware of the kind of attention to detail that we're looking for as his client. So that is my update on the utility box program, and I would be happy to take any questions that you may have tonight.
I just want to make one comment because I know Frank is the one that has installed the boxes in Costa Mesa. So I was up there the other day and took pictures and all the little detail, and everything that you're talking about is done on those boxes, and they were installed, most of them in 2017. So they've been up for 3 years, and some of them even earlier than that. So I know the quality of what we want and what we need to see, particularly to ensure that they're going to last for a while. And yay, I'm glad that we just happened upon them and took the extra little bit to say, whoa, wait a minute, time out. So I know on Ashley's, are they still going to do those strips?
They were toying with the strips when we met, so I had indicated that I was not pleased with the install of those
Okay.
strips. So I'll be monitoring how that proceeds. 'Cause
Overall,
they did remove one while we were meeting. We met at both boxes to kind of
Okay.
go over, and we did also stress, that this is Costa Mesa is somewhat coastal, but these boxes really, some of them are really
Coastal.
ocean facing, and that's a factor in how tightly they need to be wrapped and to get that durability.
I'm really glad that you had that opportunity. Yay.
Thank you, Helen.
I
Oh,
just have
sorry.
one more question about the one that has by Stillwater. To me, it didn't bother me as much as, that the optimum picture of the ocean wasn't facing the road. But what bothered me was the Dana Point, because when the point went around the corner, we lost point completely. And it was, so is that
That's going to be
corrected?
changed.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyone else have any questions? No? All right, then we can move into item 3. The Art and Community Center in the City Council foyer. Another update from staff.
Thank you. At this time, I'm not recommending for us to make any changes to the art in the foyer or down at the community center, since the foyer of the City Council chambers just reopened in May. And so I think we'd like to have that art up. It's nice to have, something cheerful as people arrive to come to meetings. Not that we're having a ton of visitors right now, but still. And so I'd like to leave that up and maybe put this back on the agenda for the first meeting in 2021 to revisit it. The same goes for the community center. I don't anticipate us opening the community center right away. So I think that there's still some opportunity in the future for the public to enjoy that artwork for a longer duration.
Okay, and just one word, I had staff, since we're okay with all this, to send a letter to Bob, because he's been very gracious about leaving everything up. So any questions from anybody? Comments? Wow. Okay, then, we'll move on to item 4, art inclusion in the park master plan. So this is be a discussion and update from staff.
Thank you. So, of course, we want to talk about the Art and Parks Master Plan. I wanted to discuss with the commission tonight, since we have nearly completed all of the artwork that is to be provided by the developer from South Cove for Waterman's Plaza and PCH Plaza, that we add those plazas to the Art and Parks Master Plan, as they had not previously been included. And I'd like to ask the commission to consider moving forward one of the projects for Waterman's Plaza, which is ready to go, which would be a bronze statue of Joyce Hoffman, which would add some additional diversity to that plaza. Joyce is still living and would be able to, enjoy that tribute to her legacy. And we had gotten a quote from Bill Leinbrook, the artist that had worked on the Hobie Memorial and had completed the other 3 statues. Last February, we had gotten a quote from him that was around $93,000. And what I'd like to ask the commission to do tonight is to add the plazas to the Parks Master Plan, and ask that I go back to Bill Leinbrook and get an updated quote, and have the commission's recommendation to move that project of the Joyce Hoffman bronze statue forward to the city council. And I'm happy to discuss any other art and parks projects that the commissioners would like to.
I just have a question regarding Joyce. I've always been in favor of her there because of having a woman to add the diversity, but she was on looks magazine cover as the tandem surfer. So will her statue be just one of her, or will it be in the tandem?
It will be,
That's very.
yeah,
And Steve is on the look one with the tandem. My next door neighbors are the tandem one.
But she did do tandem. Joyce did tandem also.
At this time, her statue is planned to be just of her. There's some iconic images from her from Cotton's Point that I think, Bill Leinbrook will be discussing kind of how she probably feels, how she would want to be portrayed. But I think there is a consensus around, there's, two pretty iconic photos of her that I think everybody has kind of leaned forward into.
I would just like you want to go?
No, I really think it's great that we're moving on with things like this because, we've been kind of dormant for a year. I appreciate that we're going forward now. Do we need a motion to have her?
Yeah, I just
Go
want to say
on.
something before I do that. I was
Is
going to
that
make a
that
motion.
might be under discussion though. So we
That's
make a-
why I was going
so-
to say something about her too when you're finished, about Joyce
Okay,
Hoffman.
do you want me to make a motion?
No, not
Not
yet.
yet?
We're
Okay.
not done discussing.
Well, that's you discuss after you have a motion.
I just want to say that many, many years ago, I just know Joyce Hoffman from Tar Farms because of the Hoffman family. And Jim and I were at, of all places, a winery in Paso Robles. And Jim had picked up this surfing book and came over to me and opened it up. And she was the first international woman surfer in the world. So I think this is wonderful to have her do this. That's all I wanted to say before anything that I'm going to make a motion.
He has.
Anthony?
So I have a question. Does the budget for this, I understand that you're going to be getting an updated quote. Does the budget for this statue, is it expected to come from the money that's already been dedicated by the developer?
No, this would come out of the Arts and Public Places funds.
Okay,
Yes.
thanks for clarifying.
Any other questions? May I make a motion? Okay, I move that Waterman Plaza and PCH Park Plaza be added to the Art and Parks Master Plan and that staff engage Bill Leinbrook to provide an updated quote for a bronze statue for Joyce Hoffman and bring the project forward to City Council.
Second.
Okay, I'm going to take a vote. Commissioner Banks?
Yes.
Commissioner Schnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Small?
Yes.
Vice Chair Jenkins?
Yes.
Chair Rob?
Yes.
Okay, so this motion passes, or by consensus, this motion passes 5-0.
Okay, under new business, in item 5, it's not 7. Rather than do everything over again, it was easier to just tell everybody it should be marked item 5 if you haven't noticed it. We'll do the arts OC update from Karen Schnell.
Thank you very much. Since I think it was a couple meetings ago when we had Rick Stein come from Arts Orange County. And I know we have become members of Arts Orange County, the city of Dana Point. And one of my goals when we initially decided on doing this was that I wanted to get all of our public art included in their Orange County Public Art Directory. So since that time, they have, first off, I'm going to give everybody the website. It's SparkOC, SparkOC.com. And when you go to the website, just click on Orange County Public Art Directory. So as of now, I am very proud to say we have 35 public art entries on their website. So when you have Buena Park, Brea, which has the largest public art collection in Orange County. And so we have 35 that we can be really, really proud of. And so doing the research and double checking what they have, we have on the City of Dana Point website on the public art listing, we have 26 on the site currently. But in fairness to that, all of the murals down at the bridge were put together as one on the city's website, where in Arts Orange Counties or the Spark OC, they're listed all separately. So what I then realized, well, we have a few that are missing, particularly Waterman's Park Plaza, all of the new 4 sculpture pieces and the mosaic and the sculpture pieces that are down there. There is a mural off La Plaza on the Rain Tree Business Building that was done and commissioned by them. And then as I was driving around town, I'm going, wait a minute. We have 9 elephants around town through a variety of things. So we are going to get photographs and get those done, put on the location of where each of these elephants are at. And we have 1 cow downstairs, which is, it was fun to kind of hear the history of the cow also. And then we're also really excited, talking with Kelly, we will add the utility boxes once we get those all done and photographed. So again, I'm really proud. We will be adding 15 onto the Spark OC site and onto our City of Dana Point site. So again, we're doing really well with the public art in our city. Cool. Any questions? Yes.
Did you find that elephant that's in somebody's own private lot?
I
Is that called
didn't,
public
that
art?
one's brand new, and I can ask,
It's right around the corner from Scott Schoffel's home.
oh, there's that one. Oh, I know there's that one, but there's a new one off of Santa Clara also in a parking lot. So I need to ask Scott's and the one on Santa Clara. Okay.
I saw a red horse. Is that included?
There's a story behind that. And I just talked to the culprit that galloped it over there. And I think there's a reasoning behind that was to get attention on the street in Del Prado. Okay?
I kind of
Yes, there is a new red horse on Del
I know
Prado.
where it came from.
So
I saw it was locked up before it escaped.
it escaped and has moved on. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
Anthony?
So I have a question with regards to the new elephant pieces that you guys were referring to. Could you clarify for me if those are to be considered as public art pieces and if they are on private property?
They're a mixture of both. The city ones that are on, so there's one at Pines Park. There is one here at City Hall. There is.
So I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Oh.
so the question is, maybe I didn't state it clearly enough. If a piece of art is on a private property, is that to be considered on the on the list of public art? Can we have some clarification possibly from
I will
from
have
staff?
Kelly answer that one.
Well, I think, in general, people a lot of times as part of their landscaping have sculptures and other pieces. I don't think those are typically listed as part of a city's public art program. If they're, in somebody's yard and property. I think it's a little different than, like, for instance, the elephant that's out in front of Souterre, which that might be, public property on Souterre, but it's public art because it's, I think, within view on that corner.
Right.
And so, yeah, I can look up to get real specific clarification on that, but kind of my gut's telling me if it's in somebody's yard, private yard, it's probably not.
Okay, we had, when I initially was putting them down, I put each of them were part of the elephant parade, of which was a public art exhibit presentation. So, and then I, left it open. But yes, as I say, there are, initially I put them all down because I wanted to put them all down. But we can just include the ones that are in the city, La Plaza Parks, let's see, the community center.
Yeah, I'm happy
has
to
them.
revisit that list with you to go
Okay.
through, because I also, again, want to verify we have good photographs.
Yes, yes.
So does that mean that an individual can commission the artist to do the horse? Or when you had them on display, did they say, I'd like to purchase this one and put them in my yard? Is that what it turned out to be? Okay.
It's been years since I've looked at the list that the city had, but the city came out with a large list of things, and two I can remember, and they were on private property. So if we're taking the elephants off the city list,
Mhm.
we have to go back to the entire list. Just two that I can remember, there was a piece of art at Kenny's Music Store on the corner, and I forget what it was. And then there is a home on El Molino in Capo Beach that was just on a corner that has an old man, a man standing there, kind of a rugged man. He was on the list, and that's definitely private property.
His is not on the list. The Kenny's Music is on the list. And the other one is the piece that's on the home on, it's not Blue Lantern, it's way at the top of the hill overlooking the harbor. It's on, and it's a mosaic piece that's, and it's on a home.
All I was saying was we just have to go check the whole list for authenticity so that it's consistent.
Yes, I agree. Let's revisit the list.
I just have one comment. Going back to that entire exhibition, the whole, what was it called? Parade of Elephants? What was the? I
Elephant
can't
Parade.
remember. Elephant Parade. Because I had the book. So it's a little confusing because those elephants were all part of the city was involved, the county was involved, and then they sold to private people. So I don't know. It's confusing to me whether they could be included.
At that point, they might become part of someone's private collection
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
no
it's too
longer
bad.
public art.
I think that's
Yeah.
probably how the lawyer would interpret it. It sounds like you need a legal opinion, probably.
I have another question for Karen. Did we do anything on the Zoom meeting?
That's my next discussion.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I wanted to make sure that I didn't get it wrong.
No, you're just fine. So are we done with the art in public places? And now I will Commissioner Small and myself had the opportunity on August 10th to be a part of the Arts Orange County and all the city arts administrators around Orange County on a Zoom meeting. And believe it or not, I mean, it was really interesting and fun. There were 10 cities that participated in this Zoom meeting online and basically talked about what they were doing during these times, and particularly the ones that actually have a facility or a site and how they're closed. And so I just wanted to point out what a couple interesting ones that people are doing. Needless to say, Laguna Beach has really stepped out, and they, having canceled their 3 summer arts festivals and all of those artists, they came up with $100,000, of which they gave to 28 artists. And I love this, to create artworks for the benefit, enjoyment, and economic revitalization of the community over the next 12 months. So they were they got a gift from the Wayne Peterson Fund of the Laguna Beach Community Foundation. What a cool, cool idea. So they were able to do that. Then Santa Ana, whoa. They received $500,000 from the CARES Act funding so that they could redistribute these funds to arts organizations and individual artists that are in Santa Ana. So again, another really, really, yay, Santa Ana. And so they were very fortunate to do that. Yorba Linda's hoping by late fall to open up a new cultural arts center up in Yorba Linda. It's going to have theater, classes, exhibits. It looks gorgeous online. Also, Laguna Niguel has a new community center with a new butterfly garden, but they aren't open yet. Again, everybody's held back. A lot of the places are doing art classes online: Fullerton, Huntington Beach, Mission Viejo, just trying as best they can to make things tie over and to work during this time. And last, what I'd like to report on, and this is really something that Arts Orange County has done, and I'm really proud of what they've done. An Orange County Arts and Culture Resiliency Fund, and it's a collaboration of a lot of groups, and they have been able to give out $158,000 to arts organizations and individual artists. And I'm proud to say Dana Point Symphony was one of the recipients of that. So again, they're trying to reach out, give relief to these arts organizations and to individual artists, and we can be very proud that they've been able to do that.
That was a very thorough. Yeah. Covered a lot of things that I thought that I would mention. The things that I would add is just being able to participate and represent the city of Dana Point and our Arts and Culture Commission, on these Zoom calls with the other city arts coordinators, as they refer to the call, was great to get that feedback and encouragement from the other groups. In addition to the Dana Point Symphony, one of the other recipients for the OC Arts and Culture Resiliency Fund, I'm proud to say, was Music Preserves Foundation. So,
Good job.
yeah, just that, especially during these tough times, to hear each of the individual cities, but also the groups, the county, and the various funds that are put up and dedicated and and frankly, everyone's pulling in the same direction. But all of these advocates for art, including music, visual arts. To hear that is very, very encouraging. And so I was very proud to participate in that with Commissioner Schnell, and we'll continue to do that in supporting Arts Orange County and in their coordinated efforts for the arts. That's all that I have to say with regards to Arts Orange County.
It's great. Absolutely great. Any questions or on this? Kelly? Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Anthony. Very nice. Nice. Makes me want to cry.
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to jump in on time before we moved to that next item, but I did have a question for staff with regards to the we were talking about the Joyce Hoffman piece, and that included in the park master plan and the budget from the Art and Public Places Fund. I wanted to ask staff if we could share what that current amount is that's in that fund, or ballpark.
I think it's about 350,000. I think, there are some additional development projects in the pipeline. We'll see if they choose to put art on site, or a portion of their arts requirement on site, or if there'll be some additional fees coming into that account. I would imagine there will be.
Okay, and then I don't know if this is something that we would add to an agenda for our next meeting, but I was wondering if we could have a discussion as a commission as to how we define public art, because I want to clarify, but I do want to make sure that it's not all going just to statues, if you will. I believe that art includes performance art, coordinated presentations of such, but I think that we should, as a commission, try to define that, or at least have our take on that. So, as we move forward, or as other groups, wish to make proposals to use that there's a clarification for what qualifies. That's all.
Yeah, I would direct you to the municipal code for the art and public places. I can provide that code to you, but it really defines what the art is meant for, project development, and then, the in lieu fee. So that's a good place to start.
Okay. Thank you.
And definitely point it out, because it's a bear to find.
Maria?
I have another question, and like you, I'm going back. What is our schedule on the utility boxes? Are they scheduled like one a month, one every 2 months, 2 a month, something like that? Or is it just as the guy gets it done?
Well, I kind of pressed pause a bit on it until we figured out the quality issues with the installation. And so we'll probably go one by one until, I feel like I'm satisfied with the installation, how it's progressing, and the small details that we want to address there. And so probably in the next couple of weeks, we'll be working with Frank to get the two that we currently have in the condition that we would like, and then we'll probably go from there one on. Now, it may take a while, because sometimes they come to town and they'll install several at one time, so there may be a couple of weeks where we're finalizing some things for the additional boxes. So I'm hopeful by our next commission meeting that they're all installed. And so that's kind of my goal,
That's good.
if we have no hiccups.
Can we also put the stairs on our next meeting, or do we have any?
Well, okay. I've been trying to be extremely vigilant in view of the fact that we have a $7 million deficit right now, and 30% of our budget is the hotel industry. So I was trying to, as much as I'd love to put that on there, and we probably, depends on what happens in the next several months, but we could certainly discuss it. I wouldn't even attempt, we're going to really have to have the council on board for that, because that's going to be a major, major expensive project.
If I might suggest something to the commission, the stairs right now is an idea. It's not a project. We don't have any idea of who would design it, what the cost would be, what materials need to be used, what the time frame is, how the installation would work. Do we need to engage stakeholders like the Marriott, the Harbor, those folks? So I think that idea needs to get needs to be studied and needs to be thoughtfully put together into a project recommendation. And so if it is something that the commission wants to focus on, my recommendation would be that you form an ad hoc committee of 2 commissioners to work through developing that idea into a solid project, so that we have a scope of what something like that even looks like.
Madam Chair, I would like to be on that, or head that commission, and maybe start doing some preliminary work. And also, I think it's a great idea of getting the hotel involved or something to contribute to that. I know that right now everybody's hurting, so we might have to, table it for a while, but that's a great idea to,
It would be an ad hoc committee.
yeah, it'd be an ad hoc committee.
So that still would only mean only 2 commissioners could be on that.
Only 2 commissioners, and you would meet on your own. It wouldn't be a public meeting or anything. And the commissioners would bring back a report to the full commission about what they've been working on for that specific subject. Or, that specific idea.
So should we do that at this meeting, do you feel, or should we?
You may do that at this
I
meeting.
may
if
do
you-
that
if
at this
if the
meeting.
commission wants to do that.
All right.
Am I allowed to say that I would definitely like to be on that ad hoc committee, having talked to 2 separate artists already, just on ideas. However, and how, for example, I talked with the artist that did the one in San Francisco, and she really emphasize what Kelly just said, that takes a lot of work and a lot of different angles and things. You don't just say, oh, we're just going to put it
Throw something out there.
together. And bringing together the community, I think, is really essential in this. And then we can get everybody excited.
I just looked at those stairs today again, and I went, well, right there, they are small. I am thinking that's not going to work. So there's a lot of different angles, right? A lot of different ideas.
I've got some ideas, so.
It's going to be exciting, but that's a great idea, Kelly. Yeah, we should do that.
Can
So
we be the ad hoc committee, Karen and myself?
Yeah.
Karen?
I think you need to see if who of all the commissioners is interested, and then determine which 2.
I'm interested, but at this time, I don't think I have time to be on the ad hoc.
So let me ask you something. I just have a question. This has always been a problem for me. I know this Brown Act thing drives me crazy sometimes, but so the other commissioners, they could have input when the 2 committee people come and, okay.
And
so-
present to the commission,
present to
and
the
then you
commission.
can
Okay.
discuss as a commission.
Thank you.
Otherwise, it's really the 2 commissioners are tasked with melding that idea into kind of a real project.
Okay, I got that. All right. Anthony, were you going to say something?
I definitely have an interest in being on the committee. I feel like from the start of this process that that Commissioner Schnell and myself were advocates for, for this project. I'm happy at any point, if I know Commissioner Banks, obviously you expressed interest very quickly, and I can defer to that. It'll be in great hands no matter what, and I'm sure that I'll be able to provide input with the rest of the commissioners when that's brought forth to us. I just would want to make sure and be on the record that, from the very start of our projects that, Commissioner Schnell and myself were very strong advocates for that project and pushing it, prioritizing it towards the top of the various lists that we made, et cetera. I know that those initial stages with the ad hoc committee, that any members of this group, that it would be in good hands. So I defer to the other commissioners, yeah, I think that's that's the other point that I would like to make is two commissioners mentioned at various times about not taking steps, or not aggressive steps, but because of the financial situation, budget situation, et cetera. And I'd just like to put my 2 cents in, pun intended, I guess, to the fact that despite budget concerns, there is money that's allocated, in the Art and Public Places Fund, which this, project would be under. So I don't want there to be a hesitancy. We obviously don't know what the budget would be required for this. That's what the initial ad hoc committee would be. But I would just like to say, since there was concern about pulling back discussions for this because of financial concerns due to COVID, et cetera, I would just like to state that I don't feel that there should be hesitancy in moving forward. So I'm very pleased to hear that we're forming an ad hoc committee, and I'm sure that it'll be in good hands, with the commission.
I am too. I think it's a great idea. So I would like to appoint Maria Elena Banks, and then since you've worked with the people, and since we're all going to have input on this, because I'm like ready to build it right now. So would be Karen Snell on the ad hoc committee. Okay, and then we'll have input. So you'll start on that.
Yep.
Yeah, because things are starting to loosen up a little bit where we can actually go and wear a mask and talk to people. Would be a good idea. But I remember the original discussion on this. I mean, I know we're all for this, and I did have a council person come up to me at an event I was at a couple weeks ago and did say, I said, oh, there's just a project we would love to do, but it's way out there. I just wanted to get a drop, and I got a drop, and it's not another statue, is it?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if they meant, there's a lot of statues around here. I mean, there's dolphins, so I didn't want to go any further on that. I really don't think it was pertaining to Waterman's Park at all, but it was just funny that comment was made. So Anthony, you make a good point. We're all for this project. I believe everybody I know on this commission is. So thank you for your input. And so it's time to move on.
I'm sorry. So is it to be understood then that you as the chairperson of the commission determine who's on the ad hoc committee?
Yes.
She just appointed.
Okay.
ad hoc.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So we're moving on to the Art and Culture Commissioner reports. Anthony, do you want to start?
Yeah, the things that I wish to report on was, they were already in the, most of them were already in the agenda. Our participation in the Orange County City Arts Coordinators. And the fact that Music Preserves had been, had received a grant, as well as another or a local icon in the Dana Point Symphony. I just think that I'm very proud also of that fact that two Dana Point based arts and culture groups are recognized at the county level by those things. So I definitely wanted to add that to my report. Let's see. Last night I was able to be a guest on a live stream program called Capistrano Live. That was broadcast from the Coach House. And I was there able to talk about, various activities in the community, and definitely highlighted again with pride and gratitude my participation, and my thanks to the city council for being appointed to this commission, and how critical that was or is towards my my civic engagement journey, I guess. And been trying to stay active during these times, for writing for the Dana Point Times, and Music Preserves will be in partnership with the Ocean Institute. Their Tall Ships Festival obviously was canceled due to the COVID circumstances, and they created an online or virtual maritime festival. And we were able to, through Music Preserves, curate music history, cultural history programs for the Ocean Institute event that will focus on Hawaiian music and Irish music and their associated maritime culture touch points. So I think that's all that I have. Thank you very much.
I would just like to say something as the chair for the Dana Point Arts and Culture Commission. I really want to commend you, Anthony. You're really out there with the preserves. I keep track of you and what you're doing, and you're doing a fabulous job.
Thank you very much. It's definitely because of the example that other commissioners have present, and previous commissioners, as well as staff, city managers, and the city council. It's come from their encouragement. Being able to give me some direction to the passion that I have, that we all have. Thank you for mentioning.
You're
that.
welcome.
I know I mentioned it at our last meeting about Art Help for Heroes. And I just want to say it was a project conceived by Dana Point resident Dana Yarger and Gallery Dana Bay to bring attention to and share appreciation for the critical work of healthcare workers and emergency responders. So the exhibition, believe it or not, is still up at Gallery Dana Bay. I highly recommend that you go in and see it, and you can purchase some of the artwork done by the 20 artists. And there are two pieces of the headlands, and I'm kind of going back and forth on which one is going to be going into my art collection. like I need anymore. But and then also to say, I spoke with Dana Point Fine Arts Association, are the artists that exhibit down at the harbor. Usually they would be up this weekend for the Tall Ships Festival, but they are going to have an exhibit October 17th and 18th down at the harbor. And I think, such that they can do it from a distance and afar, that at this point they feel comfortable that they can make it work down at the harbor. So that's all I have.
I'll just say one quick thing. I was it was amazing. I went to the Orange County Arts artists that were listed from San Clemente to Santa Ana. Actually, went last week, Sunday, 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, and was taken into the final artists of the day's home in Dana Point, which is Hyatt Moore. I walk in this room, and I didn't connect the name, but I knew him. I'd never met him in my life that I thought of. I knew him right away. I knew his voice. And then I walk into this other room and I went, oh, that's in my church. You did that. It was like, and he not only did, it was the Last Supper. And every, Hispanic, Indian, Black, white, yeah, yes, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. And I had no idea that he was the one that did it. And when we bought it, the church bought it, everybody just absolutely loved it. And he gave a big, almost like a sermon on it. But he was commissioned to do a painting that's gorgeous. It's over at the New Mission Inn, which is Marriott is the property management company on that in San Juan Capistrano. Yeah, I haven't been in it yet. I'm going to go with somebody, but he did one of the paintings, and it's just beautiful. So if you get a chance, I hear the rest of the artwork's great. You were there, Kelly. You've seen it.
No, but I'm familiar with him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're okay. Yeah. That's all point I wanted to make. So, Nancy.
If I put on the mic, it helps. I have 3 quick things I want to mention. Number 1 is the Dana Point Art Fest that was held on Del Prado. Every year has been postponed again, and it's going to be in June of 2021. And the exact date hasn't been done, and I got a phone call just yesterday from an artist wondering. So we need to publicize that. The second one is the Lantern Village Association has contacted the Historical Society, and it's come to me because it deals with the arts and culture. And their goal is to continue the Lantern Village from the 1920s. And they cite what's already been done. If you see the bridge coming in from the Newport Beach entrance and the bridge, you will see Dana, you'll see the history of Dana, you'll see Woodruff history. And then if you go down, we have lanterns, all that the city has put in on all of Del Prado. So they in particular were wondering if Raintree would, because they realize that Raintree is the one who will be doing anything. And in addition of doing whatever input anybody here has with Raintree, so that they might consider keeping up with the history. So to bring it to the present day and not keep it always in the past, they could include, now we know that Waterman, the surfing history is, but did you know that Bruce Brown did all the editing of the movie on the second floor of Bonjour Cafe? So that is in the Lantern Village Association. Possibly there could be something in Raintree with Killer Dana or Dana Cove and other areas. Maybe there's nothing wrong with keeping it in the past, but it would be nice to bring up, we're still alive in Dana Point. So if we could do that, that would be very nice. And the Lantern Village Association would be extremely happy with that.
I would recommend that they reach out to Raintree with their ideas and thoughts directly.
And the last one I wanted to do was, I was thinking, as many of us have had a lot of time to think with the pandemic and being inside and all. We didn't mention this when we did all the, we were assigned to go to all the parks, and we did these volumes of paperwork and all. And on Lantern Bay Park, there is an area, and it came to my mind, that's back in, it's kind of a glen. And Alicia Erlinger did Shakespearean plays back there. And I was thinking, since this is an open space, wouldn't it be nice, in addition to the ballpark that had the movie a couple weeks ago, they had the drive-in movie in the ballpark. Wouldn't it be nice if there was an area that we could have in Dana Point musicians come and just play. And I'm not thinking of this as a monument as much as it needs to be a little bit more permanent than a cove that it is. It's just a grassy indented area. It might be nice if maybe I'm just thinking out of the box. I'm not a designer, but a concrete risers maybe, so people then could sit, and just listen to some music, or maybe just an area that's kind of a platform even just for the musicians to do. And that might be a possibility. In addition to that, when I was on this commission, I worked with Kevin Evans, and he was the Kelly person that was in charge of the commission. And he said, there is a pathway that goes right down to this cove. And he said, it would be nice if we centered some of the monuments that we're doing, or some of the statues, if we had a reason to go down to that cove. So it could be musicians playing and so forth. So I just thought this might be an area that we might want to put on the agenda or think about. And this is not the time to talk about it because this is commissioner comments, but maybe for future agendas. Thank you.
With regards to what you're saying, oh, pardon?
Just comments.
Okay. Can I comment on something? Regarding the like they have in Laguna Niguel, where they actually have the terrace and they have lawn and then they kind of have seating. Something like that would be good there.
Okay, do you have any commissioner comments? Okay.
No, I kind of got out of line and did it before.
Oh, that's okay. No, that's fine.
Thank you.
So any other questions, comments? If not, I will adjourn the meeting because it is now 1 minute after 7. And that will be 1 hour. I adjourn the meeting at 1 minute after 7. And our next meeting will be December 9th, 2020 at 6 p.m. in the
December
City
9th.
Council chamber.
Write it down now or I'll forget.